everyone, and welcome back to a bit of Steel Division 2 action, and this time I'm having another guest, and this is the lovely, lovely Attack Power.
Hello everyone, so excited to be here again. It's always fun working with Protoss and diving into some Steel Division 2 awesomeness.
Yeah, and if you have get you all ready for League Season 9, so guys, let's buckle up and let's get another tier list ready.
Heck yeah! League, I'm so excited. And I'm so excited for the new DLC, Blood Feud. Oh, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. If you haven't seen Protoss's spoiler videos for those divisions, make sure to go check those out and hit that like and subscribe button for both of our channels. It really helps out.
Yeah, and check out Attack Power's great series of games against another content creator lately. He's really good at beating them in tournaments, it seems. Vulcan now for Wolverine after losing it against both in practices. Damn.
Yep. If only Nilla could start a YouTube channel. Oh, he does have a YouTube channel.
He has to upload again, so you can beat him.
That's right. I could have my moment.
So yeah, let's get into this lovely tier list. A lot of divisions ahead of us, even without the 6 Blood Feud. But yeah, shall we start on the top left with the
116th, 116th.
My favorite division in Normandy. Not my favorite division here. I would put it into C tier still.
I actually think it's definitely not D. It's definitely not D tier. I might put it at the end of B tier personally. I actually think this division like pops off better than a lot of people think, but we can put it in the top of C for now for sure.
Yep.
It's got a lot more tools than it looks like it does. In terms of like generic-ish Panzer division, I think I actually enjoy this division a lot.
Is that Pioneers helped out a lot, but I still think Panthers are not that great in 1v1 still. So yeah,
I agree with you, even though I just got my butt absolutely handed to me by Hobo using Panthers.
Yeah.
But that was my fault for being unprepared. So next we got 10th Guard Tank. I put this one in low B personally.
Yeah, same. P2s alone carry that to B tier, and then P-45s are just solid all around. The infantry is a bit painful, but you have one card of Guardian DT, and that's helping out to survive.
And you can call in the tankos and stuff in the half tracks, which is actually really helpful for your infantry in those early phases to like get through. And they just like having both Axis and Allied division, like you just get this perfect curve of tanks all the way up in the price range. It's really nice.
Yeah, then we go to Nov. Let's put it into D tier. I think there's always a better division, and that's the thing. Like it feels somewhat viable in ranked somehow, but it's not that great. Yeah.
I would say actually, I mean, because the balance is so solid right now, I would say D tier. It's just that there is a better division for all the D tier ones. Like in every situation, there's a better division for it. And then C, you're kind of getting into the more niche divisions that like maybe there's a specific spot here and there that they're good in. And then B, A, those are more of like you can kind of take them most places. And then S is like really actually strong kind of thing.
Yeah. Let's go on to Tartleck and with the old icon. And Tartleck is still C tier, I would say.
Yeah, I don't think it's that.
Lovash are pretty solid infantry, the Lovash, but
wow,
that's the only thing you get. Like, and they're baseline infantry. They're not specialized infantry, so having the best of the baseline infantry is still not amazing.
Yeah, and I just find they do underperform. They're missing some tools, and it's just like pound for pound, their infantry don't usually hold up. All right, continuing on. I always forget which this one is. 20th?
Yeah,
20th Pentagram?
The elephants.
Yeah. Yes, this is definitely C tier.
Yeah, I mean, Onlord can make them work. They have some really nice niche good matchups now that they have more infantry available. Like before, they were just unplayable without infantry.
Yeah, they were terrible.
But now that there are some matchups where they really shine. Never a division you should first pick, but a counter pick option that can get you out of some bad situations, but never something that you should rely
and
highly on.
I think it's kind of limited to like Slutsks only.
Yeah,
like there's not really many other maps I would have the cojones to pull this division out on, because you need every one of your expensive units to get tons of value, and if they don't, you're going to lose with them.
Lutsk and Lenina, basically.
Yeah. So 16th Panzer, I'd probably put this in D myself, but it's probably C tier, I guess.
Yeah, it's similar. It's a similar thing. You just have a couple of other strength. Like your air tip is better, but you don't have like feeling beasts like the Black Feeling Panther. So yeah, it's a similar thing to 20th. You have a big boy and you need to protect that, and that's pretty hard in 1v1.
Yeah, and I personally I think elephants are actually a little bit better than King Tigers just because of the lower price, and they still do all the things that King Tiger does. Like they're essentially, how different are they at the end of the day?
Yeah.
At least in the way you use them.
Yeah,
I'm not
now Russellsprung, a division that might get buffed, but at the moment I would put in D tier.
Both these divisions just can't hold up.
The issue with Russellsprung is it would be a great aggressive division if you wouldn't rely on the Wonkers. The freaking truck with 60 chem H on a deck that is built around aggressive infantry.
Oh my god.
So painful. Like if this deck would have an 80, it would come in Opal Blitzes, it would actually be a C or maybe even a B tier deck because you could just hammer down on the enemy with 20mm autocars and really create offensive infantry. But the slowness of this division is so painful.
Yeah, and you got to be able to get into forests. You got to be able to get into town safely. And when your freaking transports are moving at 60 kilometers an hour, you're never going to. Like you're going to get killed by every AT gun cover in every road. It's awful. It's very painful. Yeah. That's. I kind of wish they would just buff that transport because it really screws a lot of divisions.
Yeah.
352nd. I mean, this was D tier.
I would put it into C tier. Or like their Penhards can do some solid stuff in the early game, and they have they're pretty good at countering Soviet tank divisions because they have a lot of good anti-tank there. So once more a division, never first pick in my eyes. A bit too unreliable in their air tap. A bit too unreliable on their
infantry.
Exactly.
Yeah, the infantry just can't. They don't stack up pound for pound. If you end up in the woods, you get absolutely decimated.
But their infantry can beat something like 10th Guard's tank tap.
Yes.
And your tanks can beat their tanks, and your anti-tanks can beat their tanks. So you can win in those engagements in some matchups there.
Yeah, they're just not well-rounded enough to be like polling in a B or an A tier, like where you feel comfortable taking them into Q. Very often. 7th Estonian, probably I would say a little higher in C tier.
Yeah, it's just nothing in this division is fancy, and they have too few anti-tank cards. Like their super tanky infantry is nice and all, and having Churchills and stuff is cool, but they just lack a bit of high punch and they lack a bit of elite infantry to be better.
Yeah, well, and like the Mustad spam used to be so strong, and it just doesn't have the bite it used to have anymore. As most disheartened infantry really doesn't, I feel like.
Yeah. Now we come to
we have
infantry,
the new powerhouse, Hartnick.
Yeah.
Put him right up there in A.
A division that Nilla and Co have shown is really, really strong. Nilla, Puritaner, and a couple of others are real big fans of it, and I get why. Like, between the Sys 3 with radio in the anti-tank tab, that is secretly the best artillery unit in the game. And now buffed Flak Feelings with better availability, and
Molotovs on their right Jaegers.
The right Jaegers with Molotovs. This division really went up. And Tiger buff also played a big role.
Oh, helped it. Yeah. And even like the MG42 buff that, with the ammo and stuff, like every buff has kind of touched this division a little bit. I think it was the SDK of Z71 buff that really did it for them because they finally have AA. Like they have reliable, actually can kill stuff AA in enough numbers that it matters. And I think that's what put this division. The Molotovs are nice. I mean, yeah, that's awesome. But I think that really shored up its main weakness, which is its awful AA.
Yeah.
So yeah, this one definitely up there. I'm personally enjoying it a lot as well.
Yeah, went from nearly unplayable because of its A8 and Tigers to being really solid all around there.
Yeah, absolutely. 6th Airborne, one that has not gone up, it has fallen from its days back, the glory days of it in S tier, right?
Yeah, I would put it into higher A tier. It's
really
higher B tier. Sorry,
B tier. I was like, I would definitely put this guy in B tier. I don't think he's sitting in A anymore.
Higher B tier, but Temp is still strong, and they also got their Thrilling Polstons also got buffed with when the multiple 20mm got buffed. So their AA actually is scary now, which you wouldn't expect out of the ugly looking Polston. It's their infantry that's just not as flashy as it has been in the past.
Definitely.
It doesn't can be scary and so on, but don't know.
Yeah, it just doesn't have the punch it used to have in any particular tab other than the air tab, of course. But I feel like with the buffs to all the AA around, it's not as terrifying as it used to be.
Yeah, the AA round just makes Tempests not as scary. Plus, we got a lot of good other fighters in the game as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The Italian fighters definitely stepped up big time. 11th SS. I mean B or A somewhere, either high B or low A for me personally.
I would go into B with it. I mean, yeah, their bomber is nice and all, but I don't like their tank tab. And the infantry tab is competitive, but not amazing in my eyes. Like
that's a very reasonable argument. I mean, it's nice with the armored cars and stuff as well.
Yeah.
They're definitely. I mean, it's a Maverick deck. You gotta play it.
It's a solid, well-rounded deck, but it's not having the extra punch on it in my eyes. Like it's just, but it doesn't have a big weakness, which is nice.
It is, yeah. 122nd. Where does this bad boy fall these days?
This division would be great, but it's still in C tier. Yeah.
Yep. I would put it in an upperish C tier now. I've played it a couple times now, and it definitely feels much better than it used to. You know what this would make this division good? A second card of the Finnish infantry.
I mean, those are the best CQC infantry units in the game. Like the best Molotov infantry in the game. They have Suomis, they have an automatic rifle, and an extra man over. Like everyone talks about Raima's infantry, right? And their infantry is just straight out better.
Yeah.
But it's obviously you only have one card, and relying on Stux only for your tanks, like no auto cannons or anything else, is always a bit rough. And you have a similar issue to 352nd that attacking is a bit harder. You have a bit more thanks to your infantry, but it's still not that easy to push with this deck.
Yeah, so, if you're ever trying to decide some second card for them of those Finnish infantry in this division, I think bumps were way up. I really do. But anyway, continuing on, 126th Gorno. I definitely put this in a high B tier.
Yes, it is currently really scary. The DT buff helped this division really out, and it's just always has been solid since its launch. Well, first patch it was not that great, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this can even, depending, it's a great counter pick on certain maps. I mean, it could even slip into low A tier for me, but I think high B tier is a good place for it for most people. I would go for high
B tier because, it's not a division that you would always consider picking, but in the right map, after the right bans, if the enemy doesn't have a good counter pick for it anymore, it can be a great pick.
Oh yeah, it's very dangerous on like Orsha North and stuff, but any of the slooks, this can be a little problematic.
Yeah, BT7's don't take it that far there.
12th SS. I'm not going to weigh in because I kind of bashed this division, and then now I've played it like 4 times in a row and have lost to it once or twice. So this one's all you.
It's still a C tier division. It like a lower end C tier division.
Oh, I like it. Yes, bash.
It has Panzer Grenadiers and it has Panthers, and it has all the standard stuff that you want from a German tank division. It's a bit more well rounded than maybe 5th Panzer in my eyes, but it doesn't have anything shiny.
No, and for me personally, I just find the division like really inefficient. Like it has very specific tools to solve problems, and if those tools don't solve the problems, then you're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
All right, 14th Infantry.
I definitely think similar to Hartonek in the buffs. Before also easy C to D tier. Now moving up thanks to all the buffs to Tigers, to Flak Feelings. And so on. The only thing that's still missing in there, and that's coming most likely, is a buff to the Stoßtruppen MP44. Then they might actually move up a bit more But
please tell me there's an MP44 buff coming, please.
No. Please. It's just the Stoßtruppen MP44. At the moment, having attacks that the normal Stoßtruppen don't have, and that can be removed.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, 15 Scots.
Terrible.
Really heavily buffed lately.
They're still not good.
I would say they are B tier, actually.
Really? I've played them 2 or 3 times now, and their infantry are just so bad. Like it's like fighting with paper infantry on the front lines.
I don't have the same feeling about their infantry, especially as you can get so many cheap throwaway CQC units in a fast transport. Like the Willy helping really out on the infantry, and the Churchills are just ballers for their price. Like, yes, you pay with interest, like it's an investment into the future to buy a Churchill because they only arrive 10 minutes later.
Game to get there.
But once they're there, oh my god, do they hit hard for their price. And you have good off maps, you have a great air tab. Like, and the recon tab also got buffed quite significantly with the AAC and so on. So in my eyes, they moved up from like low-end C tier to low-end B tier.
I've not had good experience with them, but that's my personal. You're probably right with their buffs. You're probably right.
Ooh.
17th SS, definitely solid A tier. I would think still.
Still might be the best Axis division.
Yeah,
I'll have to think about it when we get to some other divisions later, but I would still say, high A tier.
Yeah.
One of the best divisions all around. Got a lot of nerfs, so it's not God tier anymore, but it's still really
holding on.
It has all the things you want in a German deck. Stuck
it's not missing.
Great Panzer Grenadiers with discount, solid CQC infantry, and Nebelwerfers and good air.
It's just not missing anything. Like, you can't really ask for a more well-rounded division than that in terms of Axis. 184th.
It's
probably C tier.
What? Are you?
Wait, no. I'm sorry, thinking of the wrong Strelky division. I get confused a lot of.
You were thinking of 84th, I guess. What?
Yes.
58. Yeah, but no, this is high B tier. Krupacharistiki is alone carrying this division so hard.
Yeah.
It's just
I was thinking them.
You still are a bit on the lower end when it comes to AA, and your air is a bit miserable. And medium tanks can be an issue. So once more, a division that I would never recommend as first pick, unless you have banned all the divisions you don't want to play on with them on the map. But that's obviously hard to achieve. You have to plan that out in 3D chess moves if you want to first pick this division.
You have to goad your opponent into banning a couple of themselves, and then you're ready.
Yeah, but otherwise, I would recommend them as a good counter pick if you know the enemy doesn't have good air, and it's a map where CQC infantry counts, because Krupacharistiki are the best. Like,
they are very strong. Yeah.
The combinations of AVTs and Suomis is just insane for 20 points plus smokes.
Yeah, they are quite strong. I'm forgetting the number guard.
19th tank corps.
19th, yeah.
It's sad what happened to parking once more. Like, they got buffed. I would put them in lower in C tier still, because the buffs they received over the patches were solid. But obviously the SU 152 nerf hit them hard. Because
and their infantry tab is still it's very hard to function with so few infantry.
Yeah.
That's never going to change unless they add more infantry slots. First Blindata, I think a low end A tier.
Is it? I would put them into B.
Think so?
Like, they're the basic Panzer IV division, and the Regida cards help, but like, Regida is the most amazing anti-tank gun in the game, most likely, but
yes,
their infantry is not as great as it once was, and they don't know. Panzer IV still ain't a tank I just want to have.
No, Panzer IVs make me so sad. I'm sure you've heard me rant in recent games about how kind of useless they are.
They're not useless, but they're never the tank you want to rely on. Like,
they never perform as well as I feel like they should.
They're really situational. Like, they're and that's, if you have so many of them, that's not like, one card of Panzer IVs I always want. 2 cards fine, 3 cards never.
Yeah,
so
it's just way too many.
That's why I would put them into B tier. Then the first Piechotti, an A tier division.
I would still put them in A tier.
Their infantry is so good, and the T-34 plus IL-2 spam can still overwhelm like in the good old days. Solid off map, I think, as well. Like,
it's never dropped very far. It's just a solid division, and even with whatever little nerfs they've given it and stuff, I think it's held up very well and still does what it's always done. Run you down.
I mean, they also got some slight buffs lately, if I remember correctly. Like, for example, the T buff too, for the tanks and so on. And so the T-34 is performing way better again thanks to that. So, yeah.
First DFL, B tier. I would probably put it these days.
Yeah, I would put it into higher B tier though. Like, the Legionnaires plus the air spam. Like, if you mess up, like, the amount of games where I saw someone doing well against DFL, for example, against König playing DFL or so, and then they were careless with their AA, and all their AA died, and they just got pounded into submission by air. It's sad. Like, you really have to be careful against this division. If you let their air go rampage, you're dead. And the infantry is still scary. So, also a division that is situational, but has some insane strength still, so that's why.
Yeah, the tabs that are strong are extremely strong.
Yeah.
First, Fallschirmjäger.
C tier.
Yeah, somewhere in here. Or
They-
like there.
They have to rely on too many quirky, expensive units to work. Their
AT tab is too niche and not like you can't get them around. Their infantry get too stuck in the Fallschirmjäger Panzergren thing, and you really don't get good CQC infantry. It's I want to like this division, but it just doesn't. And having only Tigers is not a good way to go. First, Ski Jaeger, definitely C tier, if not lower, but somewhere
currently
in here.
C tier. A division that could use 1 or 2 buffs as well. Definitely in the talks. But
yeah, they need it. They're
KV2s
unique infantry
are lovely and beautiful, but and their infantry is solid, but it's not more, and like nothing here is fancy, really.
Yeah, and it doesn't do anything better than any of these other divisions, really.
Yeah.
Second ID, A or S?
I would still go with S.
Still surviving in S tier.
Like
got our first super. Yay!
The French infantry, their American infantry, the rifle lates and so on, still pounding. Hellcats still annoying with their speed. Yes, you have to maybe put your supply card into A now, so that your M10s and your Hellcats can get supplied earlier, and then maybe bring an artillery piece with more supply cards in B also. But
that's not backbreaking in any way.
Yeah, you just have to micro a bit better with your supplies, because M10s are still strong and the infantry is amazing.
Yeah. Task Force.
I would 45. Say that dropped to A tier. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not S tier anymore. Right somewhere in there like that.
Like they're just a bit too. There's too many base restrictions there. Like they're still amazing though. I still play them in the monthly tournaments because I still think they're really strong. Like A tiers, all of these divisions are great, but you have to wait till B phase till you get anti-tank guns. You only have the converted gunners in A phase, which are really good infantry, but they are obviously not that. Like they have some weaknesses as well. If you would get B phase and A phase, this division would still be S tier, but you have to wait till B phase till you can get those, and that is a bit annoying.
Yeah, very very limited, and the nerfs to the availability of those converted gunners really like made them less dangerous. You're not going to get like overwhelmed by pure spam of what are still pretty good infantry.
Yeah.
44th, I'd put him on lower A tier at this point.
Yeah, the off-map nerf was really good. The SU 152 nerf was really good to getting this division out of S tier. Like, that thing, or like, was just brutal to play against.
Oh my god, I hate this division. Gave me nightmares.
The efficiency of everything, like the P2s are no. Do they have P2? They have a fast bomber. Like their heavy bombers are still annoying, but
they nerf the price on the TU2Ss as well, so it's less.
They have TU2. Yeah, that's good nerf.
It's slightly more bearable. So yeah, definitely lower A. Still strong, still a very strong division, but not completely absurd anymore. First Lovash, either high B or low A. I'd probably put them.
Would put them low A with all the buffs they were really good before, and now Aksharoks got better. The Toldi 2 got better, so they just got more buffs lately, but not receiving
their tank
any
buff
nerf. So
solid division, still does great things. Those slow Botande, oh my god, that's painful to watch them drive in.
Yeah.
Any transport at 60 kilometers an hour is just really painful to work with.
That's true.
It just is.
Unlike Wrestlesprung, they don't need to rush you with those.
Yeah, they have other tools to back up the slowness. 20th Panzer. Where do these guys sit these days?
Also on A tier division. I would put them next to 44th there. Yeah. It could be like similar division in style, like just cost-efficient tanks with cost-efficient infantry pounding you down and having a scary air. Like if you feel like you have to beat their ground cost efficiently and you forget about your AA and you bring like a good tank around and then the Ju-87 cluster bomber appears and you're just screaming. And that one IS-2 is such a level up for this division as well. Having that,
it's weirdly useful. I don't find them that useful in Soviet divisions, but in this division specifically, like it's like the one piece that other Panzer divisions are missing.
Yeah.
is like this random heavy tank.
Because they tank
So-
well for Panzer Force.
Yeah. Though again, I'm not a fan of Panzer Force.
Yeah, because they don't tank well themselves. Like they don't have
they're
much
not.
armor, but the
They're
IS-2 has
barely
good armor
tanks.
and they have good damage.
Yeah.
And now the King Tiger division with the 21st.
Zoop.
I would
I put them in a low B.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're pretty versatile. Their activation points are a bit annoying. You don't get everything you want to get in this deck, but
Absolutely.
you have
yeah.
all tools available. Like another division that you should always change up you should always change your deck when you know the map and the opponent and their deck. But with this division especially, it's like
oh my goodness, yeah.
the amount of different builds I have run with 21st and the amount of different builds from different players I have seen with this deck, it's insane how versatile this deck can be. But you have to do it. Otherwise, this division will be painful sometimes.
Yeah, I don't think it's like a great Q division because, again, its tools are just very specific. And if you don't have the right tools out of its big variety of tools, you're kind of like, crap with it. Toulon.
Another lower B tier by now? Like, I think they're
I still think they're very strong. Like, I ran into them the other day and they completely slapped me around.
Yeah,
I put the mid B on B personally.
Mid B, yeah.
Still really strong infantry. The absolute glut of 2K stuff. You're obviously the most indomitable AA tab in the game. Your artillery tab is fantastic, but of course, missing tanks, missing really great recon after your snipers. Things run out really fast.
Yeah, and
things run
if the enemy has some units to bully you, you can feel that quite hard. Like if the enemy has better artillery than you, you're screwed. Because
this division suffers to guerrillas, like specifically grills. Like that single unit, if the opponent just fires in front of your stuff, you're like really screwed. Like there's no way to get them. It's really frustrating, actually.
25th Panzer Grenadier, well, C tier division in my eyes. Fruit Lord plays them a lot. Another division that together with 14th, like they but more so even than 14th, because 14th has other good CQC infantry. They need the Stoßtruppen and MP44, and that's just currently not that great. And they have a lot of solid equipment. Like the armored cars in the Panzer Grenadier division are really nice.
Oh yeah.
But you just
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you just need a bit more CQC infantry. So they might be better if those units get buffed, but at the moment, C tier.
Yeah, I want to love that division, but there's just many divisions that just do everything better. Yeah, well, it's one of those situations. 26th, I definitely put in A tier. I think this division's still really strong.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite divisions at the moment to play as the Soviets. They also didn't got any nerfs with the patch, with the latest nerfs. They also got the ISU buff, so they just got better lately.
Yeah, they're just good. It's always been a good division. It's only getting better. So 26th Panzer then. I'd probably put these guys low A tier as well, personally.
Yeah, I'm struggling, but I kind of agree with you on that one. It's a division that I felt like was better sometimes, was worse sometimes.
Yep.
And for a while I thought it was their best German tank division, but then I realized no, they are a bit less versatile than 20th Panzer. But low A tier works out for me.
Yeah, it's a division I feel like should be better, but just works out to about this level, I feel like, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
28th Jaeger. Still A tier?
Still A tier. I mean, nothing has changed here. The Jaegers are still an amazing 20-point infantry. The off-map in there is, I guess, a bit more expensive, the plain one, but the ground one is still the same. And they have solid stokes, and the infantry is just nice. Nice to have.
Absolutely. 29th, I'd probably put upper C tier.
Yeah. I think they also profited from the ISU buff, right? But that's about it. And they never... The infantry is just not great in the Soviet tank divisions, and nothing here screams, I'm cool in this division.
Yeah. Nothing's way above rate or anything like that. It's not bad. Like, it's very playable. It's just not good either. Second Guard, I would personally put these at the bottom of B tier.
Yeah. Also a division that has good bombers, which...
P2s definitely help that division a lot. T-34-85s are really good. The infantry tab's a little less painful than 29th. The 29th and 2nd are really similar, with 2nd having just some slightly better tools at the end of the day. I feel like. 2nd, Blinde.
Relatively low C tier at the moment. Yeah.
Yep.
They they have suffered a lot of nerfs because they refused to go down and win rate, and now they finally have done it, but maybe a bit too much.
They're just like degenerate if they're too strong. It's like obnoxious to play against them if they're too strong.
Yeah, M8s and Boston Bombers were a bit much for sometimes, but we will see. Something has to be done about them. Eventually there will be something, but at the moment I would not recommend them. Even Colonel Koenig has stopped playing them in tournaments.
Yeah.
So
I'm not upset about it because I did not enjoy the whole getting crushed by bombers, but that's just me. Second, New Zealand.
Yeah, I would put them into B tier by now as well. Like
Yep.
I tried to keep them up in A tier, but every time I play against them, I somehow beat them. Like it's never easy, but I somehow beat them. And every time I play them, I feel like I miss just something because you miss that M10 with 2,000 meter range or something. Like just Shermans in the end is frustrating.
Yeah, Shermans don't pull the weight they used to these days. I mean, they're still solid, but they just, if that's all you have, you do notice that you're missing something all the time.
And like their infantry, Oblitus and so on, are solid infantry, but they are maybe a bit power crept. Like they're not the top
power creep
anymore.
Definitely. Power creep got this division because it used to be up here. Like when it first came out, I remember this thing just being the bee's knees of divisions, and now it just slowly, things just got better than it, and it never caught up.
Like slightly nerfed, slightly power creeped, and that ended up with it going down to B tier.
Yeah. 358th, low A or upper B?
Low A? What? What is so amazing about 358 at the moment?
Here's the thing. I'm not actually a fan of it. I've just had many people be like, this division is great. And I'm like, I don't personally like it.
I think it's just a lower end B tier division. Like it has.
I can agree. I'm fine with that.
It has Strelkies in the mounts, which are like Strelky DTs are great. ADPs are solid infantry, but it's nothing here is super fancy.
You get really strong like artillery and stuff, and you can rush really hard with the division. So I do get it, but yeah, no, it's not. I don't find it to be overwhelmingly strong. It feels like it comes in and out of style.
Yes. Third. When division that if you're playing in Division 4 and you're up against it, be scared. But if you're in any division above, like 3 and above, I would put it into higher C tier. Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere in here.
Yeah.
It can be used, but when you're playing against strong players who know how to work around Fallschirmjägers, you're in a lot of trouble because you're burning 40 points every time you bring an infantry squad in. It's really rough.
Yeah, their CQC infantry is just not quite that amazing. And yeah, the rest of the deck is fine. Like, you have Püppchen and stuff, so that's all cool. But it's not...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the other Fallschirmjäger that we will come to.
It's just not these days. This and Sixth Airborne used to be top dogs for the longest time.
Yeah.
Third mechanized. Somewhere in here?
Put it in there, yes.
Somewhere in there.
Looks like a good spot. Like,
yeah, it's just one of those Soviet divisions that didn't keep up with the power creep and got a couple nerfs, and it never came back from those couple nerfs.
I mean, Partizanis were amazing because they were some of the cheapest units to bring Molotovs in. And Molotovs were supposed to be, like, back in the day, Molotovs just annihilated everything.
Oh my god, they were so good.
And Shermans, like, Molotovs or Shermans was what made this division meta. And both of these got maybe nerfed the hardest out of all units in Steel Division. So then hit that division pretty hard, and it never fully recovered.
Nope. Third Armored, I'd put lower B now with the recent buffs.
Yeah. Yes, this can be if Stardeck is playing this against you, you have to be worried.
Yeah, he makes this division look good. Jumbos are still super annoying. The extra points for your infantry and everything really help this division a lot, and I don't think it's overwhelming like it used to be, but it is solid now.
Yeah. Third Canadian, I would still put into C tier. We buffed this division quite a bit. Kangaroos going up, the Star Wars Stormtroopers going up, but Canadians. I mean, I'm fine that they are in C tier as well. The division that was so obnoxious for so long.
Oh my god, yes. This is where it should be. We want it to stay there. Third VDV, I know you're a fan, right?
I would put relatively high A tier, B tier.
I was about to say what?
that was lower A tier or higher B tier. Let's put it higher B tier. But the DT buff hit this division really well. Like, this division
Yeah.
got so much better because they now have good long-range infantry and so on.
Yes.
I'm just out of shape with them. Like, that's frustrating. Like, I couldn't do a 19 win in a row run with them at the moment, which is a bit frustrating for me. But I have another division I could do it with at the moment, so that's...
Yeah, you need to know this division to play it well. Like, it's a very, like, you got to know how every unit functions and what it needs to do to play this division well.
There's no other.
It's not a, like, randomly pick it up and do well with it kind of division.
Yes, it's one of the most unique ones in the game.
Yeah. 43rd.
No, higher. They got buffed lately. Remember?
Oh, that's right. You're right.
They're
I apologize.
pretty good division now. B tier, 43rd. Yes. Like the annoying part about their AA is still the thing, but
yes,
85th is not the worst AA to rely upon, and their infantry is good. Their big tonks can be good if you use them in the right matchup, and that like they have a unique combo of those tanks plus infantry combo that can be pretty strong if you have the right matchup and the right map.
Yeah, their lack of arty and forced like heavy AA only can be very frustrating to work with. But I do like this division. I always have.
Yes,
it's fun. 4th, Fallschirmjäger, somewhere up in here.
Yeah, I would put them between 28th and Harteneck. I would say Harteneck at the moment is more well-rounded because Fallschirmjägers are still expensive. And you have a couple of other expensive things as well, but you have every tool you need in this deck. You have some nice CQC infantry thanks to the Italian editions. You have some armored cars which help out. Your air tap is solid.
Artillery, your tanks are good enough to get you through a game.
Yeah, tanks get you through a game. Artillery gets you kind of through the game, not amazing, but radio mortars are helpful. That's the one thing. Even though the nerf was nice, but it was not.
That was barely anything. It's worth 5 points to make your mortars good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they needed to be nerfed, but honestly, I thought it actually could have gone further and still been reasonable. 4th, Munte.
I would say C tier, yeah.
Somewhere in here. I mean, it's still a solid division, I think, but it is definitely niche, and it's got to be like against the right division. This can be very difficult with its really, really good AT tab. You do have good infantry, and you get the Panzer IVs eventually, and their arty tab is very workable. No. But
yeah, another division I would never first pick because if the enemy knows how to play against them in A phase, your A phase will just be miserable.
Yeah, it will be very unfun. Yes, very, very unfun. 52nd, I still think down here somewhere. Probably
the same issue with Munte, just that you instead of 10 minutes of pain, you have 20 minutes of pain.
Yep. And then it's Panthers. Then your solution is Panthers.
Yeah. Well, Yak Panzers as well. So
yeah, okay, yeah.
If they would get the Yak Panzer in B, that they might actually be fine, but they sadly don't.
Yeah, exactly. Then, my beautiful baby. Just kidding. Only when I use it. I would put this in a low A tier though, probably. Yeah, I think for most people.
I mean, they're somewhat similar to Lovash, just that they have better AT, but maybe worse tanks than Lovash. Like, that's kind of how I would compare them. Like, the infantry is pretty similar in my eyes to how Lovash
is. Well, the Romanian infantry are much better at CQC.
Yeah.
Because of the automatic rifles and stuff. Like, these guys will shred in the forest pretty well. Lovash, you will struggle in the forest at times.
Yeah, but you have a slightly better mid-range than the Romanians.
Yeah, because, Husarak or Shotoshaks give you that triple machine gun, that just dominates everything. So, yeah, somewhere in here. I think it's a very solid division still. 5th Gebirgsjäger, I'd probably put them in a higher B tier these days.
Yes. I would still put them in there. Their infantry is still a lot of snipers.
Yeah.
They can be pretty nasty with their stuff all around, but I feel like some other German infantry divisions just feel better at the moment, click better.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. 5th Panzer, somewhere in the mid C tier division, I would say.
No, lower C tier. Like, this division does nothing better than
nothing
everything.
Special. Nope, so it's the most cookie cutter Panzer division there ever was.
Yeah. So you could maybe even consider putting them into D tier just because they're doing nothing special, but they are at least average and everything. So yeah, lower C tier is
somewhere in here.
Yeah,
somewhere like that. I feel like Eugen was like, we need one Panzer division that's absolutely the most standard thing we can ever make, and leave it that way forever.
And I mean, that's fine. Like, it's a great
Yeah.
division to learn the Germans with, but you should get off it at some point.
Oh yeah. Fifth
Viking.
SS Viking. I like this division personally. I actually think it plays pretty well. It doesn't have any like significant weaknesses. I would put it somewhere in B tier.
Well, its infantry is a bit too expensive for the current meta. So
I guess
lower end B tiers, I would put it.
Somewhere in like probably about
and
there.
And their air tab is not that great.
Like, yeah, it can be difficult. What you have is good, but it is hard to bring them in any like significant numbers.
Yeah.
But you at least have good AA. You know, your tank tab is actually pretty excellent. Like, it has all the tools you want it to have. Stug 4, T-34, 85. Like, it's got good tools. It's just a little less efficient in a lot of ways than a lot of these A-tier divisions.
Ooh, now we come to a division. I'm still not... I'm practicing this division so much. And I feel like there is something about this division that could put it higher into C tier. Or maybe even into lower B tier, but at the moment, yeah, let's put it there. I don't want to create any big turmoil, but this division, the artillery in this division with the big new 140mm artillery piece that is super cheap for 80 points and radio, plus the M10 that can fire indirectly. It's
that is good. Yeah,
it's so scary, and you have the 15-point converted gunners. If those would be the British version instead of the South African version, this division would be insane. But with 11 instead of 15 hit points, you don't tank quite as much. Because the playstyle for this division is you move your infantry forward, and as soon as it hits something, you shoot it with your Shermans on your artillery and let your infantry retreat with the damage received. It's like your infantry never fights. Your infantry is just there to find where the enemy is.
It's the infantry that kill this division. If their infantry got buffed, it would actually probably be very dangerous. You got all those really powerful Shermans, and I don't say that often, but Shermans that actually can kill stuff. It can, but yeah, right now it definitely doesn't. 78 Sturm, definitely, like, I would put this in S tier for Axis, me personally.
I think
I know it probably belongs here, but if an Axis division had to be S tier, I would probably put this in S tier.
I think I have seen Gonzo dismantle this division one too many times to put it into S tier, because it just is just that slight bit too expensive to be S tier.
It's expensive. Oh yeah, everything you call in costs a crap ton. Like, you need to use your units well. If you don't, it does not perform well. Like, you can absolutely get overwhelmed with this division.
But what you get for that price then is really, really sweet. Yeah. So but I would put it behind 17th. I would say 17th is a bit more efficient.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. I think people fear 78th more than most divisions though these days.
Yeah, I know. Troplord, for example, is a big fan. 7th mechanized.
Low B tier?
Low B tier, yeah. Stardeck practiced them a lot lately, and I think they're pretty good.
Yeah, I think they're solid. They're not. I don't think they do anything phenomenally well, but I don't think they are bad by any stretch. I think they can be very dangerous when used well.
And now we come to the division that is C tier, but in some scenarios you still pick them.
Yeah, somewhere. I think somewhere in here, like right there.
The scenario where you pick 84th is on a Slutsk map when all King Tigers and all other IS-2 1944 divisions are banned. And you bring these guys out. It's just you are the one with the big boys. And that's the only reason why you bring them. Because all the other IS-2 divisions have something else that is cool. And this division has IS-2s and then something.
That's it. Yeah. Absolutely. So then 8th Indian. I'd probably put this upper B tier these days, but maybe lower A tier.
I mean, I would still put them into A tier. I feel like Gurkha rifles are still undervalued. Like, everyone is like, oh yeah, Commonwealth infantry can't slap. And I'm like, dude, you're at Raider, you're at 2 men extra, and you add Thompsons instead of Stans. Like,
Gurkhas are definitely solid. Like, those are good infantry, but rifles are just so underwhelming in all situations that it feels bad whenever I use them. This is the one Commonwealth division though I feel like okay using. Like, it doesn't feel bad.
The British rifles are great. Their their artillery is perfect for the price. And they have enough radios also, like with their recon units. And the sniper finally it got fixed, so it has the right amount of ammo. And 25-point 5-man sniper team is pretty nice.
Their Indian scouts are very, very good. Yeah, they're obnoxious.
Only issue
97th.
in this division
sorry, go ahead.
is the Shermans. But I feel like
Oh,
they're better
Shermans.
than second New Zealanders. So that's why I would
Yes.
put them in there.
Going
S tier in my eyes. It's absolutely
S tier.
it's like this division didn't got any nerfs. I think we had it in S tier last time as well. And it just got buffs. The ICU 152 got buffed lately. Like this division might get nerfs because obviously it's still really scary and it didn't got any nerfs, so it should receive some. And that might be in the works. But for the moment where we put this together, this division is absolutely S tier. It has PE2s, it has 3 cards of off maps, it has ISU 152s, which are really cost efficient 2000 meter range now. And it has
those are really strong now.
And 1 card of T-34s, which is enough that you at least have some nice medium tanks. And then the infantry has Stromoviki Rocks, the infantry has Guardian DPs, so the classic good Soviets you want. So I think it's the best all-around division in the game.
Yeah. Alrighty. You heard it here, guys. 9th Cav, still D tier or bottom at C?
Bottom at C, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe even
I don't really use them at this point to even say.
Yeah.
But they haven't really received any serious buffs, and their infantry is still underwhelming in basically all situations. So I can't see this like magically moving up because it's Shermans and Kazakis, and they're still not very good.
Kazakis didn't get any buff. They might even still be D tier because, like, don't they also get nerfed by the off-map nerf?
Oh yeah, I think so. I think they do load on 152. So let's put them down there.
Yeah.
They definitely just don't have it. Army Kardrova.
That thing actually moved up. I would put it on high-end C tier at the moment, like next to the Vulture Makers. Like really, really high-end C tier, because the infantry is super. Like if you get them on Kostritsa or so.
Oh yeah.
The infantry is scary, and they have the right amount of 2000 meter range to cover the open. And you now also get like 4 fighters or so, so you in A phase, so you're somewhat covered. And Oshnotsi are just nasty infantry.
They are.
No, so yeah.
Korak.
F tier.
I can't find anything lower.
it's sad, but
it's the truth. But we'll just move on. We don't need to bash on Korak. Corpo Italiano B? Somewhere in B tier. Somewhere.
Yeah, there's a lot of discussions about them. I would put them into B tier, and that should make everyone fine in the community, because I know there's a lot of people who say it's not really useful, and I know there's a lot of people who say this is the absolute most amazing division in the game. The reason why is they have slow transports on one side, they have the most Berettas on the other side. Like Maros are nasty.
And the para assaults they got there and those things, they can be really, really good, but they can also like really flop.
Yeah, you have 3 cards of Maro infantry, you have good artillery, but also on the other side Shermans and slow transports, which doesn't really make it great.
Tatra, I would still put this in low A, probably. Mid A, even mid A.
Yeah, like next to 20th sounds good.
Yeah, I still think this division is really quite strong. It's one of the only divisions where disheartened infantry still do something kind of useful. And of course you get the great suite of AT tanks, and obviously a little lacking in the AA department, but the buff for the SDK of Z71 helped them too, right? I believe.
And the thing is with this division is just that you don't have anything in high quantity, so you have to be a bit resourceful with when you use the units that you have, but every unit you have is strong. Just that
except for your disheartened infantry, you get plenty of those.
If you lose one part of your deck, you then have a hole in your deck, which you have to be careful of. Like if you lose all your tigers, you don't have tigers anymore. If you lose all your short range tanks, you don't have that anymore. But other than that, it's a pretty nice deck.
All right, Pencherna, somewhere in here these days now?
I would still put them into C tier unless it's Stanislavski.
I haven't played them.
Unless I haven't played them. Stanislavski you play against. This division is so hard to play, and I don't think it's good enough for that. So C tier is still where I would put them. Like crumbles are rough to use. The infantry is cool now, but they still have so few slots, and it's not amazing infantry now, out of nowhere.
It's serviceable. You can get by.
So
all right,
if you're up against Stanislavski, ban this division all the time. Everyone else,
let him go. Bazugli.
No, is this Bazugli?
Isn't
Isn't
it?
that Viborg?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's B. I'm sorry. My bad. Viborg. Yeah, I always forget it's Viborg.
I'm not sure. Wait, let me.
It is Viborg because the B is Bazugli, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The Russian letters, doing me in. C tier, right?
C tier, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, it doesn't do anything more special than other divisions at all. It's got some okay infantry, but just doesn't. Yeah. Fedyuka, guys jumped way up.
The Strelky DT is nice. It went from low C tier to mid B tier, maybe.
Yeah, that's where I'd put it, somewhere in here.
Like
some people think
nice.
this division's really, really strong now. I think it's very playable now, but I still think it's missing depth. The deck doesn't go long. But yeah, the DT thing definitely helped.
Now we come to a division I've tried so hard to make work now after the buffs, but I still can't do it.
I can't either. No, I same thing, Protoss. I tried myself. I was like, this division's got to be good now. Their infantry are still bad. Just because now they're 20 points, they still suck.
Yeah, it's so hard to make 8-man MG42. I would
MP44.
Let's put them into C tier. Yeah,
I put them at the top end of it, but
yeah.
They still don't got it. Like, just because it got cheaper doesn't mean all of a sudden their infantry are good. They're still kind of
It's just a bad loadout.
Yeah, it just doesn't work. Like, it just legitimately just doesn't work at anything. Hermann Göring, I think this is low A tier these days.
I would put them next to DFL and low high B tier because their infantry is solid, but it has a cost problem. If Valkyr would be a bit better, this division would be great. But
yeah, they are bad.
You're still, I don't know. It still feels like when you overrun their infantry, they suffer hard.
The Sturm Pioneer buff helped them because now they have some like cheaper CQC units to work with. But and the deck building of this deck is painful. Like, the slot costs really suck.
Yeah, but if you get the Storm Tiger into it in a matchup where the enemy doesn't have above 160 penetration, it just feels like cheating.
It's absolutely unfair. Group Moskaya, I'd put these guys at a lower B tier.
Yeah, their
low,
weaknesses got that sounds about right. Their weaknesses got better, but they're still having the weaknesses of A and tanks only in B and only T-34s. Like, the infantry is great, but ain't as flexible as other decks that you want.
Nah.
Oh, and now we come to my favorite. And I mean, for me, this is clearly S tier. No, it's lower A tier, but they will get buffs. So that's why I would say, like, put them into lower A tier for the league. Because with Bloodfeud and Transylvania, the Italian tanks in that deck will get a bit more armor and a bit more accuracy.
Okay.
So, yeah, as we're building this for league, I would say lower A tier is fine because they have some of the most amazing infantry with the Pioneery. Like,
oh my god, those things are still absolutely disgusting times 10.
And their artillery plus air combo is really, really scary. And they have so much cheap armor to spam around. Like, the amount of annoying little Italian tanks that you will have to deal if you play against this division, you're like, wait, where's that coming from? And then there's just that small little 15-point tank that shoots at you from the side. Whilst you have to deal with the enemy artillery and the enemy air coming at you. Like, Monte Rosa is really legitimately scary. It looks a bit weird because slow transport, but you have enough auto cars that doesn't matter too much. You can compensate for the early game with it. Not a Vanguard division, obviously, because of it. And then the other thing is, the infantry looks relatively weak, like the Alpini. But you have to realize
that they do pretty well.
That they are Grenadier MG42s instead of normal Grenadiers, basically. Plus, they have a Beretta as an SMG instead of a shitly useless MP44.
Yeah.
So
no, they're solid. I would probably put them in upper B tier personally, but I understand your love and argument for them. Panzer Divisione.
Lower B tier, I would say.
It's somewhere in here.
It's somewhat
it's serviceable. It never feels like the best choice for most places.
Yeah, it feels like a weaker Tatra. Like, it has really strong things, but it runs out of them. And there's
really
things are not quite as strong as in Tatra.
Yeah, and it suffers at the mid range with its infantry. It really doesn't have anything that can go to bat.
Well, the thing is, your MGs are T26s. Like,
Yeah,
that's how
exactly.
your mid-range infantry you have to use the T-26s for.
Yeah. Panzer somewhere in C tier.
Yeah, I mean, I
I'd
kind of want to see them in league, and I feel like there might be a play for them better, but currently it's C
No,
tier is where I would
not
put them.
yet. Yeah.
The Panzer requested.
Staffwitz. Panzerverband Staffwitz. This is definitely lower C still.
Yeah, I would put them right at the end of C together with 19th and Blinde. Like that's.
Yeah. They don't got it. They're missing the too few infantry slots. Their tanks don't do enough to make up for it, and they just don't got it.
If they would get a second card of their Erkundungs recon units, I would be so much higher on them. But they lack just that bit of infantry power.
Yeah.
Like all the support weapons they get are nice. All the cheap Panzer III they get are nice, but they're just getting overrun too many times by infantry.
Absolutely. Rapana. This is one of those weird divisions. On the 2 or 3 maps that they're fantastic, they're absolutely disgusting. On everything else, they are kind of embarrassing.
Yes, and even then, I feel like they nowadays can be beaten in CQC, which back in the day never happened. But yeah,
so I'm gonna put them in C tier, somewhere in this zone.
Yes, that sounds fine.
Definitely like niche situations for them, but I'm not as scared of them as I used to be. Like I beat Hobo the other day using 5th Cav against this. And like my infantry were beating his infantry. Like it's possible.
Now we come to the division that escaped D tier with Turina. They finally got a bit better, and I would
somewhere in here.
Yeah,
somewhere. They're not amazing, but they're at least serviceable now. You can use them.
Nobody does T-34 spam as well as Turina now, which is but T-34s sadly are not that amazing. But if they come in numbers, they still are scary. So. Be ready for getting nastily spammed when you play against them.
Yes.
Either
you need to have a lot of mid-range AT for this.
Yeah. Either with T-34s or with U2 spam of Doom. Like, that's the other 2 spam they got.
Love to see that. Ooh, Butler.
Getting a buff. At the moment, C tier, yeah.
Somewhere in.
But
it's not bad. It's just the phase locking and whatever the French Molotov infantry is not like ridiculously strong, so
yeah, the Makassars are not that amazing. The Aurelis will get a buff in the next patch, so they might go up into B tier then. But at the moment, yes, C tier is fine.
Yeah, and then Bazugli. Now we've come to Bazugli.
Yeah, Bazugli. No, Viborg. Wait,
Viborg. I mean, no. This is Bazugli. We did Viborg. That was the weird B. This one's Bazugli. Still somewhere in C tier, I would think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it doesn't do anything better than any other division.
It's just, I mean, there's the top end Soviets just outclass these divisions so much.
Yeah, by a lot.
Having those cool fancy units, and these just don't. Like the Tigers in particular are nice and so on, and like since then they got a good bit better, but still not a division I would ever pick highly. Yeah. I think that's.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. So if you guys are hitting up this league, this is something to take into account for when you're trying to rate your divisions, or even hopping into your next Q play. This would be something to think about. Anything looking wrong to you there, Protoss?
No, most of the 8 tier divisions are absolutely serviceable and competitive in every map. If you're hopping with any of these info ranks, you can't do anything wrong. And most of the B tier are also completely fine there. C tier, you have to be a bit more down to getting a bad matchup from time to time, but hey, balance never had been so good. If you feel like you want to be a Panzari main, you can jump into rank with them as well and have a good time at the moment, which is just great. Like
absolutely, yeah. No, it's Strike Team. Eugen have been doing an awesome job getting this game into a really nice place, and I am super excited for Blood Feud and adding even more divisions to this now really fat and awesome game. But yeah, so. I think this is a really nice list. I hope this helped you all out. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you stuck around to the end, make sure you drop a comment down below. Let us know that you made it. You made it through this haul.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button. Subscribe to both our channels. It really means a lot. And thanks for having me on, Protoss.
Thanks for joining, and good luck in the league. I will be watching.
Good luck in the monthly, and have a fantastic day, everybody.